The moment my children waved off another one of my stories with a distracted, "Yeah, Mom, we've heard it," something inside me folded like an old photograph losing its edges. I had spent my whole life collecting these memories, little pieces of who I used to be, only to find no one seemed to care anymore. Except one small person I hadn't expected. It happened last Thanksgiving, in my daughter's bustling kitchen. The smell of roasted turkey filled the air, and the clatter of dishes mixed with football commentary coming from the living room. I tried to share a story about my first apartment, the tiny studio above a hardware store that shook whenever the train passed. But before I could even finish the first sentence, my son interrupted, asking his sister what time dinner would be ready. My daughter-in-law glanced at her phone. My words floated into the air like steam and vanished. I laughed it off, pretending it didn't sting. But inside, it felt like someone had quietly closed a door. Later that evening, after the pie had been sliced and the grandkids ran wild through the hallway, I sneaked onto the back porch for some air. The night was cold and smelled of pine and chimney smoke. I wrapped my sweater tighter and let the quiet settle in. That's when I heard the screen door creak open. It was Emma, my youngest granddaughter, clutching a half-eaten cookie and looking at me with big curious eyes. "Grandma," she whispered, "you didn't finish your story." I blinked. "What story, sweetheart?" "The one about your first apartment." "I want to hear it." Those words warmed me more than the thickest blanket. So I told her. I told her about the rickety stairs, the friendly old man who owned the hardware store, and how I used to fall asleep to the hum of passing trains. She sat cross-legged, cookie crumbs on her dress, listening like I was reading from the most important book in the world. When I finished, she asked for another. And another. Every detail, every smell, every sound, she soaked in like sunshine. Over the next few months, whenever we visited, she'd tug my sleeve and whisper, "Tell me a story, Grandma." And I did. Stories my children had brushed off for years found a new home in her eager little heart. One afternoon in spring, my daughter called me. Her voice held a softness I rarely heard. "Mom," she said, "Emma told her class about your train apartment. The teacher said she talked about you like you're her hero." I had to sit down. Me. A hero. After feeling invisible for so long. The next time Emma climbed into my lap, I kissed the top of her head. "Thank you for listening," I said. She smiled. "Grandmas have the best stories. You just needed someone who knows that." And in that moment, I realized something beautiful. Even if the world stops listening, one open heart can make every story worth telling again.